Uh,
This is Python's Paradise. This is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena, straight out of Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada. Although I have the beautiful celebration of Toronto behind me, because that's where I would love to live. I love Toronto,
uh,
love it. And of course, just did my third convention with Lisa Langlois in Frightmare in the Falls, and had it not been for her, I would have probably been still stuck in New Brunswick, not going anywhere. So she invited me to my first con, and I've been on that adventure ever since. And boy, do I love it. You know what else I love, folks? Here on this, the date, December 11th, 2023. What else do I love? I love my guest tonight with the beautiful pink Barbie bow in her hair, and she looks like a Barbie.
hey,
Yes, he does. I had her on here, folks. It was actually December 20th, 2016.
no.
Yeah. And now I got her back and I'm so happy and to have her back. And we're both, of course, involved with 13 Fanboy as well. And she's one of the reasons I pitched in on it. Folks,
Oh,
folks, I give you the absolutely stunningly beautiful, gorgeous Lark Park Lincoln. How do you do, lovely Lar?
hi, Greg. Thank you so much. That was very sweet, very kind, gracious words.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, I've kind of pulled away from 13 Fanboy, but I do have the old shirt with your face on it in there.
Oh, that is super cool.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
got Tom Matthews on it and early, so
Yeah. Oh my goodness. But he wasn't in our show though, was he?
no, no, he
No.
pulled out. Yeah. But
Oh.
I still got that shirt and I thought I'd wear it tonight.
No, I really liked doing that show. I was happy with what I got to do with my character. Did you like the turn that we don't really know what happened to her?
You know what? I wish I could have saw the film in a theater. I
Oh,
tried to pitch it so it would play in Toronto when I went there for Horrorama that year, or Frightmare in the Falls, whatever it was I was going to.
right.
I ended up seeing it on YouTube, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna be frank, and I only saw it because I knew people were gonna be spoiling it.
Oh, yes, right. Uh-huh.
And but to be frank, I kind of wish I didn't see it that way because I'm like,
Mm.
I put 3K into that movie.
Oh,
I
goodness.
think I
That's a
should have
lot.
got to see it on a big screen.
Yeah, you should have, because it does make a difference in some of the scenes. It
Mhm.
really does. Yeah.
Yeah, but nonetheless, look what's celebrating its 35th anniversary.
I just figured that out the other day.
And you being 39, like, how
Yeah.
is that?
Well,
I got the big box set here too.
Oh, that's pretty. I don't have that. That's quite nice.
Why don't
Yeah.
you have that?
I don't know. I don't know. I just have the VHSs and the DVDs and I don't have that. So darn.
I got that big box set. And of
Now, does it
course,
have one through however many, or does it just go up to like
got
six?
every one of them. It's got
Oh,
every one right up to the reboot and
wow.
yeah. And of course, I'm good friends with Nancy McLaughlin, who
Yes.
I was talking to her the other night, and she made one of these for me.
Oh, well, I wear one all the time.
Yeah,
She made the one that I wear all the time. She's an incredibly gracious person. Love
yeah.
her. And her
So
and her ex, Tom. Love him too.
yeah, I've had Tom on here a couple times. I've
Yeah.
had Nancy on here many times. In
Oh,
fact, I turned 51 this year. Last year, Jeffrey Market interviewed me for my 50th, but this year I had Nancy McLaughlin interview me.
well, that's interesting. You've done so many interviews over the years. I mean, do you have a count at all?
Yeah, you're number 799, but you're number 101 for this year.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. I mean, there's so much work behind the scenes that goes into you setting these up.
You know what? I work as a cleaner, so like I just did a building clean before I come up here and did this, and then when we're done here, I got an overnight shift I do at one of the buildings here. And I love working back shift because there's nobody around. I can stick my
Yeah.
earbuds in, listen to a podcast, you
Do
know.
the job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes that's exactly what we need. Just I got on this is totally not involved, but I got on the computer today because our cable connection here. Oh my God, who was it? It's Verizon, I guess it was. I don't Verizon. And no, Frontier or whatever, whoever carries the internet that I have. And they had these huge numbers that they were advertising for these great sales that were $40 and $60 less than I pay a month. And I'm like, I got on there and I had to go through the chat, and it was so great because I wasn't having to deal with a human. I was dealing with the chat. Then a human came on and we were able to go back and forth a little bit. I got all of the stuff handled in just a few minutes without having to deal with someone. I was so happy. Yeah. Save
Well,
40 bucks a month.
I owe you several debts of thanks.
Oh my
Number
goodness.
one, after battling 8 years of ALS, my dad passed away in April of last year, and
Oh,
you're
so
hit or miss online to contact. But
yeah.
hearing you make like your comment you made on my status,
Hmm.
thank you. I
You're,
appreciated that so much.
oh, I'm so glad. I'm so
Yeah.
glad.
And number two, I want to thank you from bottom of my heart for doing a Doubtfire Pie in the Face challenge.
It was fun. I gotta tell you, it was fun.
Well, I don't want to get too negative, but that was one of the reasons I kind of pulled away and distanced myself from 13 Fanboy. You probably know some about that.
I'm sure I do not. I'm sure I know
Okay.
nothing.
Well,
I'll listen.
well, it goes back. Here's how I'll put it this way. Back in 2016, the year I interviewed you, I'd interviewed Ted White, and I got a signed Ted White hockey mask here from the final chapter, and I had him on twice. And Ted had gave me the contact info. He didn't do it live on the air, but he gave me the contact info, the phone numbers for Kane Hodder and Judy Aronson, and he
Okay.
said that they would love to do your show.
Okay.
It's like, okay, I didn't reach out to them right away because I didn't want to just out and call them.
Right. Okay.
But what had happened was in 2018, um, actually it was early 2019, we lost Dick Miller.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
5 months before Dick Miller passed away, I had him on my show.
Mm.
And he wasn't on my list to have on the show. It just, I noticed he was doing a lot of the cons, and I was like, I need I thought, would he come on the show? I had him on the show, and I'm like, man, if I hadn't have taken that shot, I would have never have had him on. I
I've
got
missed
him
it.
just in the nick of time,
Yeah.
and I
Mm.
was like, well, I got Kane's and Judy's phone numbers.
Yeah.
I should give these a shot. Kane, I called, left a message on his answering machine, never heard back.
Okay.
All's fine.
Yeah.
All's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Judy, on the other hand, first time I called, her girl answered saying that I had wrong number. So I contacted Ted White and I said, do you think maybe I might have spoken to? She said she would never do that. Never do that. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, because Ted worked with her and this and that, and he spoke
Uh-huh.
very highly of her. I let some time come, and when I got involved with 13 Fanboy, which I put 3K into, I
Yeah.
thought, well, I'll reach out again because she was part of that.
Yeah.
This time the person answering claimed to be her cousin.
Okay.
I had Debbie Sue Voorhees on my show 5 times, and on one of those interviews, she told me to lose the numbers. So I got rid of the numbers. I don't have them. Um, that left a little dark cloud for me. So then uh after we lost Robin Williams, of course, the Doubtfire Challenge was happening, and
Mhm.
I started pitching that, and I pitched it out to people from 13 Fanboy, and Ron Sloan did it, you did it, Jason
Yeah.
Bradford did it, you know.
Nice.
And a bunch of people did it. Scotty McCoy, who I know I think you've been on his show. If you
Oh,
haven't, you should.
sounds very familiar. Do you know the name of it? Do you
Um, Slasher Scotty.
Yes, yes, I know.
I recommend him
Yes,
highly. By the
yes,
way,
I did talk.
Tommy Kovac says hello.
Oh, how wonderful.
He's told me to tell you to say hello.
Great to hear the names of people that, you've talked to or seen at different places, visited with. Yeah.
Yeah. So Scotty had suggested I pitch it out for a challenge to some people on Cameo, so I did. And I had some
Oh,
success with people in the wrestling community, but I pitched it to Judy Aronson on Cameo,
uh-huh.
and she was all for it. But it was because of COVID.
Oh,
Couldn't do it then, and I understood that. A
mhm.
year went by, and I thought, well, COVID's dying down a little bit. I'll pitch it
Yeah,
out
try it
again.
again.
This time, a whole turnaround.
Mm.
A whole turnaround. And then I'm hearing stuff like Orlando Rodriguez, great guy who is part of 13 Fanboy, sent me some screenshots of text going on about me on a 13 Fanboy page.
Oh,
That was very negative, and I got accused of stalking Judy Aronson, calling her
oh my,
22 times,
oh
which
my
what
goodness.
woman is going to allow a guy to call 22 times? And by the way, I can prove my innocence.
No. Well, you see, I'm not involved in any of those online groups, so I
Yep.
haven't heard any of this.
So and not only that, Carrie Yates, one of our lovely 13 Fanboy people who's in the UK, she got blamed for sending me the screenshots, and she had nothing to do with it.
Oh my goodness.
So I pulled away from
Mm,
13 Fanboy. My name's still on it, but I pulled away from it.
yeah.
Um, Jason Bradford and I made peace, but with Debbie Sue and Judy Aronson, I'm still angry, especially Judy, because
Mm.
Ted White spoke so very highly.
But you didn't actually talk to Judy or know if she actually said any of those things.
I don't know whether that was her, not her cousin,
Yeah.
but I got rid of those numbers. Like I still have your phone number.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you see me stalking you? I went
No.
I've done 3 cons with Lisa Langlois.
Yes.
I'm about to go to a trip to Toronto for Christmas, and she and I are going to meet up.
Nice. Nice. I hope I get booked on the next Canadian show.
Yeah.
I have a
Well,
great fan in Canada. John Wood is an artist that does a lot of drawings of me. And I had never met him in a couple of years. He lives in Canada. I got to meet him at the falls, and it was just wonderful getting to meet the artist. It's great.
yeah. So I was very upset with that, and I thought it would have
Oh,
been wonderful. And they were saying, well, the pie in the face makes light of suicide. No, it doesn't.
no, no, it doesn't at all.
No, it
No.
doesn't. Because Sandy Johnson, who is Judith Myers in
Yes,
Halloween,
yes. I love Sandy. She's a Texas girl herself. So I've traveled with her and her husband a few times.
I had her and her husband both on here together, and I met them at Frightmare. Not
Yes.
only, and I'm always like I donated to your actors studio when you did
Yes.
that. I
Yes.
made
Thank
a
you.
donation to her charity. She had her
Mhm.
husband dressed up as Michael Myers to put the pie in
Yes,
her face.
she did tell me about that. And yours went to a local food bank here called Mimi's Pantry, Mimi's Food Pantry.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I feel bad that I got treated that way in 13 Fanboy after putting 3K into it.
Well, I mean, the people that said those things were horrible or awful and shouldn't have been doing that. People really need
Yeah.
to not. But that wasn't the whole production and all of us in the show, and certainly not the
Actually, you
show.
know what? The one I got, I didn't even have a crush on Judy. I had a crush on Tracy Savage, and Tracy Savage has been on here on Boxing Day for 4 years.
Oh, fun.
I got her number. I messaged her on her birthday recently, wished her happy birthday. I text her.
That's nice.
Not running
Yeah.
for the hills. So when I hear stalking is a very serious
Well,
accusation.
I know I've dealt with it, but
Yeah,
I think sometimes it could be if there was an assistant answering the phone. I've had times where my own phone has actually been answered by someone working in the studio when I'm coaching, and they'll grab the phone and they'll send a message. And someone like that could have turned and said, "Oh, I've had so many calls from this person. He's become a stalker." And it becomes that story,
yep.
and it's really not always from the person. I have no idea, but I'll always be a devil's advocate with that,
Well,
I
they had
guess.
a Friday the 13th, the final chapter reunion at Frightmare in the Falls. And the one
Oh,
person that didn't show was Judy. And I'm like, yeah, I bet you that's my fault. But you know what? I had a great report with Kimberly Beck and the twins and whatnot. And I'm good friends with Bobby Heckman. I
I
got the
don't know.
Victim No More beanie on my head, and I was a
I don't know.
co-producer on that. Huh?
I don't know who that is.
Well, he travels a lot with Kimberly. So
Hmm.
when I met Kimberly, she said, Bobby couldn't make it. And I said, oh, will you tell him his producer is upset that he couldn't make it? We did a little video together.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
funny.
Just give me half a sec. I got to turn
Okay.
my phone into flight. Just give me a sec.
Sure.
There we are. By the way,
There
speaking
you
of
go.
Jason Bradford, you don't mind if I snack on something while we're talking?
No, it doesn't bother me at all.
Perfect, because I got this Nutella here
Oh,
that,
no, you can't do that to me.
oh, it's just speaking to me. Oh
No,
man.
that's like bourbon to an alcoholic. You just can't do
Oh
it.
man, look at
Oh,
this. Look at this.
no, no, I
Beautiful.
can't.
Oh man.
That's
You
cruel.
you want some? You
No,
want some?
that is so cruel. I cannot. I
Hmm.
can't even have it in a crepe in Europe. I can't even taste it. I'm so addicted to it. I can't
Hmm.
stop it. Oh gosh, my mouth is watering.
I bought that this for this interview because you know what Jason
Oh,
Bradford told me?
what?
He said he brought you a big jug of this stuff on set for a 13 Fanboy.
It's like a 10-pound jar,
Hmm.
literally. I'm just like, I can't. I can't. Oh, yeah,
Mm.
I can't. Can't even smell it in the room. I'm so addicted. I'd eat the entire jar. I don't care how big it is. It's good, right?
Look at
It's
that. Don't you wish? Don't you just wish? Don't you just wish?
I wish I had it, but I'm on the 12 step of no Nutella. Can't. I'd be 100 pounds, like heavier. I'm already over 100 pounds, but I'd be 100.
Oh, you're not. You're a little tiny thing.
I'd be 180 pounds if I ate Nutella. But it's good, right? You can't stop.
Mm.
I could be the spokesperson for Nutella. If I were the spokesperson, I would eat it, but then they'd have to pay for rehab. It's just not possible. Cruel man you are.
I bought that. Jason Bradford told me that. I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
but
you
but
guys
not.
are not the only ones. When I go to the cons and they have got a present for you, and it's Nutella. I mean, at least people should bring me poodles. I could deal with poodles, but
You know
Nutella?
what? I had Catherine Mary Stewart on here a couple times, and second time I had her on, I said the same thing to her. I said, "You mind if I eat while we're talking?" She said, "Sure."
What was it?
She was in the apple, so I brought this red delicious apple out, and I started eating on it. And
Oh, it's so cruel because we don't have a way to get y'all back.
well, you know what? We're going to be celebrating 35 years of this, and let's talk a
You know,
little bit about 13 Fanboy, though.
when I was doing that Doubtfire challenge,
Hmm.
I had my friend helping me, and it was really fun. But then I wanted to be serious too for the
Hmm.
cause, right?
Hmm.
So I was really hoping that it was something that you liked, that it worked.
Well, you know what? I want to express my extreme appreciation that you did it, you know. And to those that I've made peace with on 13 Fanboy, I appreciate those people. I feel bad. A dark cloud.
I know. I mean,
Yeah.
I hate that because I had a very good experience. I had a little trouble with some production, a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but tried to get past it a little bit. But I was really happy with the character and the way I got to play her and getting to do all the darkness in the basement and not really knowing if she lives or not, because that was something I wanted to be sure that the Tina character didn't die, right? So we don't really know what happens to her. So I was happy with how it turned out overall. And that was a pretty big undertaking for Voorhees to take on with so many
She
actors
did a
and
great job in it.
yeah,
She did.
yeah,
I even we even went around the campfire that because of my actions, whatever they may be, a screening of 13 Fanboy got canceled in New Jersey, and yet at the screening, I'm seeing a Q&A online for it.
right.
So I sent an email to Debbie Sue, and she said nothing was canceled because of me.
I wouldn't think so.
So I'm like, I don't know who's saying what. But I'm like, thank you. That was 3K of hard-earned money I put
It
towards the
was,
movie.
it's just some kind of trolls. I mean, they don't cancel screenings because of things said on Facebook or in the chat
Yeah.
rooms. It's
Well,
not.
I've never been to the States, but Lisa helped me get set up on my passport
Oh,
last year when I went to Frightmare in the Falls,
okay.
and she said, because she said she wants to do some cons in the States, and she thinks it'd be a good
Oh,
way for me to branch out.
oh yeah, for sure.
So I've said on here many times, I do have my passport now, but I didn't get a passport to stalk Judy Aronson. Sorry, but I do have a nice signed hockey mask from Ted White. Rest in peace, Ted White.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, yep. And I met Sean Clark too. Have you worked with
Yes,
Sean?
I have many years ago. I did. I mean, many years ago. But I see him all the time at different conventions and always try to say hello.
I had him on here twice, but I met him at Frightmare.
Oh,
Finally got to meet him at Frightmare.
I wish I could have been at that last Frightmare. I was so
I
frustrated I can't
know.
go.
Well,
I'm gonna try for the next one.
I told him about this story and he kind of laughed at it. He knows
Mhm.
I'm not a stalker either.
Well, and that, like I said, that may have just come from some ridiculous conversation. It doesn't sound like it really had a basis, in fact. So
Well, you know what? I'm glad. I'm glad. But like I said, I've had your number since 2016. You've never had a problem with me.
no, I've never had a problem.
And you're
Always
gorgeous.
happy to see your number come through and to say hello.
You know what? I'm happy to do that. But you
Mhm.
know what? I'll say this 13 Fanboy was a very well done movie.
It was.
And I interviewed probably a good 25 people from it because I even went after people. Yeah, I went after a lot of people. Jason Bradford helped me with this. I said,
Wow.
a lot of people go after the bigger stars, but I'm like, what about some of the behind the scenes people?
Yeah, well, my assistant was the behind the scenes. My assistant, Becca Rose, who's an actress, and she's also works in the IATSE union. And she's traveling as the prop master for To Kill a Mockingbird right now, starring
Hmm.
Richard Thomas, who I'm going to get to meet in January in person when they come through Texas. I'm real excited about that. But she was a crew on all of that, and then they needed help, and she did catering, and she ran one of the hotel rooms houses where they had housed everyone. And it was a lot of work because we shot way out away from the airport, like 3 hours out from the airport. So
Hmm.
it was a process, excuse me, getting to set and getting everybody back to airports and everything on time. And the original show had more of my character Lar in the acting studio, and we had Becca going around trying to get into the studio, and I had disappeared and but that unfortunately was cut because that storyline was changed, so she didn't get to be on air in the scene that we did, but she was behind the scenes.
You know
And
what? I had Riley C. Morris on here,
oh, I
and
loved Riley's work. What a talented actress.
well, I'm nudging him, and he's all for it if he can get the go away to do it. He wants to do the big extended cut.
Wow.
I'm like, look, if we could sit through 3 hours of something as boring as Titanic, we could sit through 3 hours of 13 Fanboy, you know?
Gosh, I don't know. I have
Oh,
no
I'm
idea.
for it. I'm like 3 hours. We got lovely Lar. We got lovely Tracy.
I don't know though. I didn't shoot a lot. Well, I shot a couple of those scenes that weren't in it, but I think most of my stuff made it. I mean, there would be extended stuff of everything we shot in the basement of the Torment, that went on for quite a while. That was a very, very dirty boiler room that I was in. That dirt was real. I was covered in black soot.
It
Yeah.
reminded me of Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was when he's my face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking. Creepy. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
but
it
he
was
made
so
a
hard
mistake.
shooting with it was so hard shooting with him because he was all masked up and I didn't have contacts or glasses or anything. And so then when I saw him in real life later, he was like, "Hey, Lauren," I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not placing you. And then I'm like, "Oh, yes, you were covered. I didn't see you very much when we were shooting." Like 5 minutes in real life.
Well, I interviewed that person and I said, look, there was a mistake. You should have brought her some Nutella.
Yeah, I would have been crawling, trying to save myself.
See, that you could have gotten out of that room if they had Nutella outside it.
I could have. I might could have gotten out.
Was there stuff cut there? Because that's one of the issues I had with the film is that between you and Tracy Savage, it almost feels like there's something missing in there
Yeah.
after your abductions. It's like what
Well,
happened?
in the original one, we did have studio stories. So we had a little bit more there, but I didn't mind that being pulled, but we had a longer torture time in the basement. So it was just a longer scenes of that was cut down. Obviously they have to do that for time, right? So
Was
yeah.
that footage of you watching like The Room or The Cat in the Hat? Because that's torturous.
I don't think so. No, I don't think it was that scene.
They went easy on you compared to that.
Yeah, not quite sure about that. Oh
but uh,
goodness.
but nonetheless, I'm glad to have my name on it, and
Yeah, for sure.
um I sorry the negative had happened because when
Mm,
I issued this whole doubt for our challenge, I did it with honest intention because I'm not making any money on it,
yeah, right. I
you
mean,
know, and I just thought it would be a great idea, and but nonetheless,
well, how many people have you had that did it for you?
quite a few.
Yeah.
Quite a few. I have a few people from the wrestling community do it, and Nancy did it. Nancy did it in front of props from
Yeah,
Jason Lives.
yeah, she had. But it's funny that I find it difficult and hard to do things on video that aren't acting, even though I have the studio, whatever, because we're used to a script being done, the scenes are set up, somebody's shooting, somebody's cutting, whatever. But I'm not like a TikToker or making videos on Instagram, whatnot. It's just kind of not my world. And I'm like, well, how am I going to shoot that? Where am I going to put that? Who's going to help me with that? What about hair and makeup and wardrobe? So my world is just doing it myself. So I think a lot of people probably have that same angst. I mean, I know there's some actors in our world that I help because of all these self-tape auditions we have to do. And I've had them call me and go, how am I supposed to shoot a self-tape? I'm like, I'll have someone read with you through the phone, through Zoom. Well, how am I supposed to actually do that? I know it's a different world for us. So some of that is probably we're just scaredy cats.
So, who put the pie in your face?
My friend Wendy, and today is her birthday. I took her to lunch this afternoon.
Her
Yes,
birthday. Is she
today is her.
39 like you?
No, she's 40. Yeah,
Oh, she's 40.
she's
She's a year
40.
older. That's
Mhm.
right.
Yeah, she's
Mm-hmm.
an old lady. So, yeah, took her to sushi today, and she's the one that threw the pie in my face. She's the one that said, "Well, I can shoot it and load it up." And I'm like, "Well, I just don't know how we do this. How are we going to fix the makeup if something happens? How are you going to get me walking? There's not a track line here for the camera." It's like, I don't, the people that do all the videos and things on TikTok and whatever, They're really good. I don't even know how they get all that stuff done because it's a lot of takes and a lot of edits for just little bitty clips. And then they add music and all these graphics. And I'm just like going, I'm just launching my online acting program for beginners. And it was hard to make it. And it's just 3 modules, 12 lessons. And I've done like soft launches and about to launch out the bigger version. It's a lot of work just to make very simple lessons and hope that it teaches someone and hope they learn from it and, you know, try to be personable and get the lesson taught. Man, some of those people do the most amazing work. It's like, wow.
Somebody I haven't had on here, but I'd like to get her is your younger self, Jennifer Bonko, because seeing her dog videos online,
I
what?
don't know.
I never seen anybody make so many different faces as that girl makes.
Yeah.
And Jason Bradford shared some funny stories about taking her to the airport.
Yeah, I don't want to be in that car. Mm-mm. No. Mm-mm. My younger self, glad I grew up.
Oh my goodness. Like she's a hoot, some of the faces she makes, you know. Um, but Jason Bradford said that between her and her father, they both prank each other all the time. And I'm like, I'm glad they got that kind of relationship.
Yeah, it's something.
However, I remember back in 1988, I would have been 16. So how I got in to see this, I don't know. But
Wow.
I saw this in a theater, and we don't have that Twin Cinemas anymore, but nonetheless, this was the first one I've seen in theaters. I've now seen about half the franchise on the big screen now.
Oh, wow. That's cool. That's how
When
you're
I
supposed
was at
to get.
when I was in Toronto, I got to attend a very active screening of Jason Lives.
Oh,
And the funny thing is, the following day, Nancy McLaughlin called me, and I said, did you see my post online? And said, I was watching you last night. And she goes, I know.
that's like amazing.
Yep. But people were just active. They had this thing like Rocky Horror
Yeah.
where you take a shot at because it was at the Drunken Cinema.
Just,
And I
yeah,
don't
just
drink. I don't drink, but my card said every time there's rain or fog on screen, take a shot. And
rain or fog. It's always fog.
I'm like, jeepers, who's taking me home? I wouldn't be able to walk.
Well, I bet that was a fun showing.
It was.
I bet it
Oh
was crazy.
yeah. It was a crazy showing, but you know, I always felt bad that they never got to bring you back as Tina, you know, and I wish they would. Like, I know you did Roseblood, and I
Yes.
did see it.
Yes.
I had Peter Anthony and Jessica
Yes.
Hotman both on here.
Wonderful. Well, you know, I was asked to do part 8, but they wouldn't give me a script.
Hmm.
And I didn't want to follow in Amy's footsteps, you know, where you're killed off in the first few minutes of the next show. And that's kind of how they had set up each heroine. So since they wouldn't give me a script, we just passed. And they went and created the Hollywood thing, and I went off and did another different film, and that was that. I just I never wanted Tina to die. I thought she was too important of a character, and a lot of people really loved her and felt she's like fighting their demons for them, you know, the young innocent girl going against the difficult bad person. So I just never wanted her to die. Mm-mm.
Well, what is it with Terry Kaiser always playing dead people?
Oh my goodness. I know. I called Terry to ask him to do Roseblood, and he's like, how would they bring me back? I'm like, oh, it's really cool how we're going to bring you back. Just trust me.
It's easy. You play Bernie. You're in that whole movie. You
Mhm,
did.
mhm. Yeah, he's great. And then, you know, I did another film this last year called Bad Bitch. That's not out yet. And one of my students plays the lead in it. And I play a very small town librarian in just a tiny little scene. I've just been doing some characters I've really been interested in. And I got Terry in that film playing this really Weasley kind of small town sheriff. Perfect for him. So I love working with him so much.
I've heard great. I've never had him on here, but I've heard great things about him.
Well, I've got his number. If you want to stalk him.
Please.
I'll be happy to send you that number.
Actually, you know what? If you trust me, and I know you can because
Yes.
I've proven it to you, I would love to.
Yes, I will get Terry to do your show for you. Absolutely.
But he has to talk. We can't do the propping him up as Bernie thing.
No, he is super fun. He absolutely is. And I'm sure he would love to do your show.
I would love to have him. I've heard great things about him, you know.
Yeah. Great guy.
Oh, by the way, I don't want to get too off topic, but Jimmy Presley sends his love too because he
Yes,
nominated you for that
yes.
Doubtfire challenge.
That's right. That's right. I do remember that. Sometimes it just takes a few people. It takes a few messages. The Facebook Messenger, I rarely look
I
at.
know. That's why I was so
Well,
touched when you
yeah.
messaged me about my dad. It's like
Well, yeah.
it meant a lot to me that you did that. You have no idea,
Oh,
Lar, how much that felt. Because you had mentioned you lost your folks at a young age. I
yes,
mean,
very young. Yeah, I was
you know,
just 30 and 32. Yeah, very young. Well, I just don't always check that. So I'll go in once in a while. I do have Grace who runs everything. Grace has been with me 3 years now, and
hmm
she handles a lot. And then I'll go in once in a while. But email is really it's like everybody just email me. It's just email me. But I just need to go in and check it more often. I try to check Instagram as much as I can. But it does get to be kind of complicated to check things everywhere. If
hmm
you want to get back to someone, or sometimes you can just send a thumbs up or whatever. But
yeah,
if you want to start chatting or something, and before you know it, you've been doing it for 4 hours, catching up with people. It's hard.
yeah.
It's so
No,
hard.
I'd love to have Terry on if you're willing to send that to me. Absolutely.
We'll do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You
I,
know,
I will chat with him and be sure he wants to do the show for you.
sure. But
Yes.
you know what?
But
This should have been your whole face on here, you know.
couldn't have been.
Yeah,
It's better to share it with him. That's great. I remember the day we shot that photo.
I don't know, nothing against Kane Hodder, but I'll tell you, he doesn't have that beauty.
Oh. So when we shot that, since it was in film then, wasn't
Yeah.
digital, I was sitting on this little stool in this art production office, and they kept covering half my face.
hmm
And I didn't know why. And I'm like, this is really strange. You're covering half my face. They're like, oh yeah, yeah. Or we just need half your face, but we have to we have to be sure which half of your face we're going to use. Like, okay. And then the first time I saw it was on a huge billboard on Sunset Boulevard when I was driving up the street. I'm like, oh, I get it now. Yeah.
Years
Wish they
ago, I
paid me for
had
that.
Mike Aloisi on the show
Oh
here.
yes, I love
Yeah.
Mike.
Oh, to hear Mike talk about Kane.
Well, they're quite a duo.
Yeah, I've never had Kane on here, but I gotta say, just listening to Mike talk about him is insane, you know.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, yeah, I so remember like it yesterday because when I went into this movie, there was a guy dressed up as Jason with a machete ripping the tickets.
Oh, that's fun. They had it really set up, huh?
They had it really set up, you know.
That
How do you
is
feel
fun.
about 35 years?
It just feels very strange. That's why I was happy to do Roseblood, but it feels very strange. It was a really fun movie to shoot. It was a hard shoot for me because I had to handle so many different kinds of crying scenes, and I wanted them emotionally different. And my contacts kept sticking in my eyes from the different crying start, stop. And I had to drive so far from my house in LA to get there. It was well over an hour each way, about an hour and a half, just through traffic and whatnot. And our days were really long. So it was a hard film to do because they're always very condensed times. But I had fun doing it. And since I was a fan of Friday, I was excited always to be going in to shoot it.
Yeah,
So
you were a big fan.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
There you go. Yeah. Well, it's funny because this movie presented one of my biggest pet peeves of the franchise though too.
What's that?
And it had to do with I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I know he was formerly Kevin Blair.
Yes, Spiritus. Yes.
Yeah. No disrespect at all to him,
Yeah.
but I wish his character was killed off. And again, nothing against him because it would have been any actor and I would have felt the same way.
Yeah.
Because
As in Tina didn't need the help. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Remember the opening of Jason Lives when you got Rompalillo? And they dig up Jason.
Yeah,
Rompalillo runs up behind Jason, hits him with the shovel. He turns around,
yeah,
smashes his fist through him.
yeah.
He's got his heart in his hand. I found it so out of character, and it bugs me to this day when Kevin is shooting at Jason and he bats the gun out of his hand and pushes him into the canoe. And I'm like, poor Ron, it could have had it so easy.
Could
But
have
I'm
just,
like, why were they saving this guy?
well, because he's so gorgeous. And he is an incredibly talented actor and has won several Emmys the last few years for his own web series that he created, After Forever. Really, really incredible series. And yeah, and he's an incredible singer, absolutely phenomenal performer. So
Yeah, I would have said that about anybody, so it's not a knock on him, but it's
it was
like,
just the character you're talking
oh,
about. Yeah.
actually, it just seemed out of character for Jason,
Oh, okay.
knocking the gun out of his like.
Yeah. Hmm.
I'm like, man, like poor Ron in the previous film, he pushed his fist straight through him, and he's like pushing the guy in the boat, and I'm like, something there is off.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, you did all this. What was one of your finest memories of shooting this film on set?
I really loved the nails, the nail scene, and the electrical scene, the wires around the feet. That I really loved that, but I loved shooting the nails forward, getting him like that. That was one of my favorite scenes. I really liked that.
So you're
Yeah.
telling us you liked tormenting Kane Hodder.
I did. And I still like to torment Kane because he can be awful. His pranks are awful. And he knows that he can't keep up that stuff around me. And so I've gotten him to stop when I'm around doing the awful or the bad jokes, because those nasty jokes are not my brand. And I make him stop that. And so,
Do you ever go up to him and take him by the ear and drag him over?
well, I've gotten him a few times when we've run into each other. He's just a puppy.
Well, Jason Bradford said that he was permitted because I guess Kane had nut shot at him,
Okay.
what kind of a playful thing. And I forget who told Jason Bradford that after they were done shooting, Jason said, do you mind if I do this back to him? The guy said, go for it. He did it back to Kane.
So what were they shooting though?
Something to do with 13 Fanboy, but I mean, it wasn't on film. It was on the off time. Because Kane, I get the picture. Kane has got a very different sense of humor.
Oh my gosh, he does. There's two Kanes. There's the crazy pranking Kane, and then there's actually a very, very sensitive, thoughtful, caring person there. Yeah.
I thought
So
you were going to say WWE Kane.
well, there's that too. So, I did a convention with him recently. It was was it called Fear Fest? I might have the name wrong, but it was the Final Girls. We did like a lot of the Final Girls. It was awesome. And he was doing photo ops, but changing the Kane costume for all of the different shows for the fans. The lines were insane. And he was like exhausted. Like he'd put on one costume, he'd done all of them, like all of them in a row. It was crazy. Good sport. I'm trying to create a photo op for Tina, and I think I have created it. I think what it's going to be is the costume, and then Becca, who I told you about earlier, is going to make a wire pearl necklace that's going to come out from my neck on a wire, and I think that's going to be in the photo op.
You want me to tell you what I recommend?
What do you recommend?
For photo op? Get it done very close to where Kane is sitting and throw stuff at him. Telekinesis.
You just throw stuff at fans. I'll just shoot things out at fans. Yeah.
You ever get to do the cons with Jennifer Bonco?
Yes, I have. Yes.
Does she still make strange faces? You had to think about that one, don't you?
I'm glad I grew up.
I love her faces that she makes, and she does these selfie pictures, and I'm like, she seems like a delight, you know.
I know that there's a word that would describe her. Um,
Jason Bradford told me that her father had said,
she's sincere. She's sincere.
well, Jason Bradford had told me that one of the jokes that her father played on her was early in the morning, he put saran wrap on the toilet,
Oh no.
like plastic wrap.
Right.
So when Jennifer went to use the washroom, the pee went all over the floor.
I You know that sounds like that might be correct. Do you know what happened to someone in my world if they did that to me? It would be painful to them. Be very painful.
You would telekinetic a couch flying at them.
Yeah, yeah, something would happen. It would not be good. So
You know,
no.
do you have any other? I mean, I've heard so many different stories on this. Susan Jennifer Sullivan. People say she's gone. People say she's alive. She's like the new Elvis now. We
Yeah,
spotted her. We didn't spot her.
right, right. Well, I was told that she passed away many years ago when she was just
Okay.
40, in her like early 40s. Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's just a lot of rumors and people that just want to, say things like that.
I love that flip over the television there.
Yeah, that was great. That was a great stunt person that did that. We had a lot of fun shooting that scene. I remember John Beekler had to work with
Mhm.
her quite a bit to get the axe and the head movement right, because when we were doing special effects, certain things had to be done a certain way, even if it didn't feel right for them to make the effect work. So I remember standing there with Kevin and us having to watch that piece done so many times to get it to look right at the door. But it was fun. I did like that scene.
What was
Mhm.
your memories of her?
She was very new in acting. She was very new, and they had dyed her hair red, bright red, because all of us had our hair dyed different colors. They dyed her hair red because John wanted her to kind of be like a ginger from Gilligan's Island, and it didn't look right, so they had to dye her hair back to platinum. Um, Heidi's hair, they dyed colored this. I think they dyed it dark brown, I think, and took it back. My hair was platinum, and we colored it black because they thought they wanted to make Tina a punk version, which was a nightmare. John didn't want to do that. That was production, I believe. So then we had to take mine back to the color it ended up with. So but I remember that Jennifer was a very new actress to everything. And so I remember John working with her quite a bit and helping her to get that character nailed down. Yeah. A nice
Absolutely.
person. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel bad for John Beekler because I know that so many fans, especially with today, the stuff that's released on television,
Yeah.
and yet you talk about this being cut and cut and cut, and they
Cut and
can't
cut and cut.
restore it.
I know, because there's nothing left to it. What that was cool about Roseblood is he got to put all of the special effects in, and he did them really well. And it was kind of his ode to John.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but nonetheless, you was I was going to ask you, what's the most unique thing you've ever been asked to sign at a con?
Well, body parts, I guess.
Well, Catherine Mary Stewart said she signed a butt cheek once.
Oh goodness. Yeah, I would probably pass. But yes, there have been a few things, or they've tattooed my face somewhere on their body and they want it signed so they can go tattoo that. There'll be a tattoo artist down working at the convention or something. So sometimes it's things like that can seem a little odd. Yeah.
House 2, I see that behind you. I'm
Yeah.
gonna say one moment I have a hard time getting through on that scene. It's when, because you're so beautiful, you're so gorgeous. I'm like, there's no way I would let you walk out of that house. I mean, he opens the door and he says, "That is a such and such a year pterodactyl. Why not open the cupboard up over there? Oh, it
Right.
drives me nuts every time I see that scene,
Um,
and they let you walk out of there, and I'm like, don't let Lar walk out. Don't let Amy Yasbeck walk out. Don't let them walk out.
well, she was just an awful girlfriend too. She only had success in her heart, and the character that Ari played was such a sweet Jessie, so they had to get rid of her some way.
I had Devin, the sacrifice girl, on the show here a
Oh,
couple years ago.
oh my
Talk-
goodness.
oh yeah,
I don't
she'd
know
come
if I've
on
ever
here.
met her.
Yep, yep. But nonetheless, I always loved Jonathan Stark in that movie with the
Yes.
banana shirts. How he
I
went from
got to
being
see him recently. I got to see him the first time since we shot it recently, and it was so nice to talk to him. He writes and produces and does a lot of things like that.
Well, it's funny seeing him go from Fright Night, where he's intimidating, to go and playing this guy that gives Ari this gun and what do you do with this? Light cigars with it? No, you
Right.
shoot people with it. Duh. And of course it lights. So he goes to
Well,
use it.
that's the goal of us as actors, is to make it seem like we can't do one role and you see us in that role and you see us in another role. That's our goal, hopefully.
Any memories of Royal Dano in that film?
No, I didn't work with those scenes. So, sometimes you do, I wanted to. He also played the voice of Abe Lincoln at Disneyland, was him. And of course, the Lincoln name, he was one of the voices. So I really would have liked to have chatted with him, but I don't think I even met him actually.
Yeah, he was stuck in that cupboard at the wrong time.
Yeah.
You got
Um,
one film I wanted to bring up on your IMDb because
what
you've
is
done
that?
a few since we talked last, and
Yes, I
you
did
did
4 or 5 in the last 2.5 years.
well. What is a Ghost Party?
Oh my gosh, so dear to my heart. It's G-rated.
Okay.
It is a G-rated family film, and it's a film that we shot as a play.
Mm-hmm.
So I play a ghost from the early 1920s with tall blue hair, like a Miss Manners type of ghost. And I was brought in as casting director for it, and I cast Major Dodson, one of my students from American Horror Story and Walking Dead, as the lead characters, and a couple other of my students. There's only 5 of us in the play film, so it streams right now on a channel called BroadwayOnDemand.com, and we did it during COVID with all the COVID rules, and it was crazy. And we shot it in order like a play, so we had to memorize, the whole 100 pages, and just go forward like that. It's a really fun little film. Yeah, I was really excited to do a G-rated film. Very cool.
Okay. And of course, you did. I clicked out of it there. You did 13 Fanboy, and of course, and you did Roseblood. How excited were you to do Roseblood?
I was really excited. I liked the story quite a bit, and
Uh-huh.
I thought it was really fun. I like that he was able to keep Tina where she should have been, in a mental hospital. And the director was cool with letting me look really awful, which I thought Tina would look awful. She's been put away for 30 years, and I didn't want hair combed, and we added gray to my eyebrows and my roots all around. And I was hoping I could have looked a little worse than that, but they
You
they
never look worse.
well, Tina had been put away. She'd had a hard run, but she breaks out of that, and I did like that. I thought that the storyline was fun,
Mm-hmm.
so I had fun doing that film. Yeah.
Another one, you have Autumn Road, and you got Expulsion and Sky Sharks.
Yes, yes. Well, Autumn Road was a very fun film. It was shot locally here in Texas by a really neat group of filmmakers that do quite a few films.
Mm-hmm.
And I played a very, very bitter, sad, angry woman who had lost a child 10 years before and never got over it. And then
Okay.
she meets the grown daughter that left, comes back, and they just have this really intense, very awkward reunion after 3 years apart. And it was a character type I'd never played before, and I was excited. My family watched it, and they said they'd never seen such a desperate expression on my face playing this woman, and that's what I wanted to get across, was just that. So it was a really interesting little film. Richard Linklater's granddaughter, Lorelai, played my grown daughter, and she's very
You know
interesting.
something? I saw, speaking of Richard Linklater, I saw Everybody Wants Some 9 times in the theater.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I don't even know it. Mm-mm.
That is one of his movies that he made in 2016. It's
Oh,
like the spiritual sequel to Dazed and Confused,
oh,
only
wow.
it's a new set of characters, and it's set in that last weekend of college before or well, last weekend before you go to college, and it's set in 1980, and the music just kept bringing me back. Yeah, yeah. So I went and saw that 9 times. I loved Everybody Wants Some.
Oh.
Looks like you got starring role in Expulsion.
Expulsion was really, really unique. It was an independent film, and one of my students, Colton Tapp, plays the lead in it, and he played a dual character. And so I was his on-set coach also, and I had a role of a woman who'd been going through different time warps. There were different time warps. The world was folding, time was folding. So she was very aged, kind of starting to turn gray and having difficulty because she needed the world holes to zip up and quit sending her through time. But it was really interesting because we did so well with his dual character that a casting director actually said to us that she didn't know until credits if he was one actor or two twins playing the dual roles. So I was like, yes, success, done. Yeah, just a
That's
fun
gonna
little
make you
science.
proud.
Oh, I'm so proud of him. He's a very good actor and does really good work. So I was very proud of that film. It was shot in Arizona in incredibly brutal heat, like 120 degrees.
Hmm.
And we were dying shooting that film. Oh my gosh, it was painful, so painful. But that's filmmaking.
Wow.
You just know you're going to dig in. You're either going to be cold, freezing, or you're going to be miserably hot pretty much anytime you get on a set, one or the other, for a minimum of 12 hours or 16 a day. But that's okay. That's what we sign up for. So,
I love what you're doing with your acting studio,
yeah.
and I think it's amazing. I see your posts on it,
Oh,
and yeah, and I share them when I can,
oh,
so
thank you so much.
I don't
Yeah,
mind doing that, I'm happy
I
to.
love it. Yeah, I've been coaching a long time. I've got my second book on acting about to come out. Um, so I'm excited about that. Um, It's called Slate, the audition before the audition, and that's something actors do before they do an audition, is slate. So I've written an entire book about it, about how to do it correctly and with some spark and passion. So I really like it. I have a good group of people I work with, pretty continuously. Yeah.
Yeah. You're ready for Christmas?
Oh, I am not, Greg, ready for Christmas. I did have help. Someone got my tree down out of the attic for me since my daughter is not home. My son just had his twins early, twin boys, 3 weeks ago. Beautiful little twin boys. Came a little early, so they were due in January, but we have them now. So I don't have my son running up here from his home to put the tree up. So I got the tree up, and I may do some decorating this evening. I mean, I've got the lights over there on the table, and I've got some, I may give it a start, but my tree is very complicated. It's very complicated. It's very packed. It's a crazy tree. I hang everything on that tree from their graduation tassels. I have all of the tassels. I put the baby shoes are hanging on the tree, bronzed baby shoes, and dog collars of the ones that have passed on are also ornaments. So I have a very crazy tree of all of the actual mementos of our life that you would normally put in a box and put somewhere. So I just hang it all on the tree. If it's
Kane Hot
sentimental, let's go on the tree.
Kane Hodder wants those baby shoes back.
Yeah, those are being bronzed now. They don't have enough bronze material to cover his shoes.
See, I was wondering, like when you have your photos lined up on your table at cons,
Mhm.
like do you ever sign the one where it shows you on the floor with a Christmas tree on top of you with the kids laughing?
I do love that shot. And that's
I
exactly
seen
what
it.
it's exactly what it's like with that tree up there. And it's not going back in the attic this year. It's going in the big studio closet where I don't have to deal with the attic anymore because my kids will, yeah, no, that's not happening again.
Yeah, they look like they were very supportive of you standing there laughing at you.
Yeah. Like, hey,
Just your legs are sticking out from under.
I forgot about that picture. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't.
I can be quite klutzy. So, it's kind of a joke. Yeah. Lucille Ball right here.
Lucille Ball, absolutely, absolutely.
That's
Well,
okay.
well, you know what? It was so wonderful having you come on here this evening and talk to me. Again, I thank you so much for reaching out to me when my dad passed, and I thank you
Yes.
for doing the Doubtfire Face Challenge.
You are so welcome. It's always a pleasure talking with you. It's great.
Yeah, and of course Tommy Kovac and Scotty McCoy, Jimmy Presley, they all send their love, and of
That
course
is,
Jason
yes.
Bradford as well.
Yes. I hope that I get to see you in Canada in person.
I want to see you, and I did pitch you to James Ponce too
That,
for
yes,
Frightmare in the Falls.
yes, that because I went the one time and I would maybe what month is that in? Is that like in January?
October. I've done it
October.
3 times, and I this one here I got Lisa booked at it, and I
Uh-huh.
got Eileen Dietz booked at it.
Oh, nice. Very
You know,
nice.
I don't manage them. I just
Yeah.
recommended them, but I actually got should show this. I got this from Eileen. I paid for it online, but she said rather than me pay the shipping,
She,
you just bring it there.
oh, that's fantastic. Is that a hat? I can't tell or
Yeah,
shirt.
it's like a beanie hat,
Oh, that
like
is, oh, I
this.
love it. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got Pazuzu's face. I've had Eileen on here a couple times, and she was a delight to meet, and I had so much fun at that. Felissa Roses
Yes.
goes
Love
from
Melissa.
1 to 11 Spinal Tap wise. She is
Yeah.
totally on when she's a. I haven't had her on here yet, but
Yes.
we are in a movie together.
Which one?
It Wants Blood. James Balsamo directed it.
Okay. Yeah.
I shot my scene here on my phone, and it's being watched on a television by Eric Roberts.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
Yeah. So I can't wait to ask Eric Roberts if I ever have him on here. I want to ask him what it was like working with me.
Well, I tell you, I tried to get an Eric Roberts film called Insane Like Me that was just shot here in Dallas. One of my actresses, Marie Wetherell, who was in Ghost Party with me and who plays the lead in Bad Bitch. You're going to see Marie Wetherell coming up, but she booked the role. She's young. She booked the role she should have booked with him, and I didn't. They cast this old guy as the doctor, and I'm like, I knew they weren't going to cast me. I knew they were going to go with some really old gray haired doctor, and they did. So what? But I'm just dying to get to work with him sometime. I'm just gonna keep trying.
Well,
They
I got
cast
to
me.
eventually get him on here sometime, but I
That's
watched It
funny.
Wants Blood, and I'm like, he's watching me on a television. How weird! And I didn't even have to leave here to do that
Yeah, no,
scene.
that's a great story. I love that. I'm jealous of you getting to work in the film with him, even though you didn't get to meet him yet.
Well, James Balsamo approaches all kinds of people to get them to do cameos in their film because I'm not an actor. But
Right.
he's been on my show 5 times, and I remember I got an email from him one night, and he asked me if I'd shoot my own death scene for Cool as Hell 2, and I'm looking at that, and I'm like,
Hmm.
I'm not an actor, but I did it. I appear in 9 of his movies.
9?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
and
Well, you've created a whole new acting
oh,
area that
I make Tommy Wiseau look like Sir Laurence Olivier in my performance.
I'm just going, wait a minute, this is a whole new category I need to be coaching people in. Work from home, be in all of these films.
You ever met James Balsamo?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, he's had so many. Like, I remember when I shot my own death scene for Cool as Hell 2, I did mine based on a scene of Linnea Quigley in the
Oh,
trailer
really?
for it. Yeah, because I met Linnea Quigley a couple times and I've had her on here, and I saw her at Frightmare, and I said to her, I said, we're both in a movie together.
Well, maybe I've got to, maybe I'm gonna have to look him up.
Yeah, he's on my friends list. Yeah.
All right there. Well,
But he's got a lot of movies out, and he's
you
had
need to
like,
just give him a call for me. You're not doing your job. Your management skills are lax right now.
I will do that. I'm gonna ask him,
I'm
because
looking for a new manager and agent actually right now. I love my performance agents, but I'm looking for a new actor's agent. Mhm.
about Sean Clark.
Well, that's for the appearance agents. I've got my appearance agents already.
Oh,
Yeah.
are
I
you with
hired
Stacey
my,
Lee?
pardon me?
Are you with Stacey Lee?
No, but I adore Stacy. She and I have a great following. We have a joke about poodle balls, and I love Stacy very much. I work with Missy Gordon,
Okay.
and I work with a couple of other guys, and sometimes Samantha Osborne. So I do like the group there, but I did let go of my actors manager and an agent. So yeah, I have to figure out who I'm going to work with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and Nancy McLaughlin sends her love too.
And mine back to her. I adore her. I need to reach out and say hello to her.
He speaks so highly of her. I've talked to her a couple times this week, because a lot of times she'll call me, and yeah, like, again,
That's nice. Because you're
she's
such a stalker.
yeah, I'm such a stalk. Well, you know what? I've never personally met Nancy.
Oh, you
Uh,
have it in person?
No, and I interviewed her. She's been on here 8 times.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, like she comes on here and we just shoot the talk,
Goodness.
but I think we got connected through the Doubt for Our challenge when she did that, and we're both part of the same Christian faith,
Uh-huh.
so we both share that. But she'll call me a lot of times, like when she did Chiller. She called. I was so honored she asked me, because I'm really the most inappropriate person to ask, but I was honored she asked about. She asked, what does Lisa Langlois do when she goes to cons? Like, what does she take? This and that and this and that.
Uh-huh.
And we got talking. I said, well, get some photos done. A
Yeah.
lot from Jason Lives, some
Right.
headshots. You know,
Right.
and I said, she asked, should I get a jacket? I got the jacket from One Dark Night. I said,
Yeah.
bring it.
Wear your jacket. I've got my jackets from Friday.
Yeah. And your medallions. But
Yes.
you brought up something that I said was such a winner. And I said, go for it. She wanted to do American Express cards with her face on it. I said, go for it.
Oh my
Go
goodness.
for it.
It's funny.
A nice little thing. But I was so honored she had called and asked me about
Yeah,
that.
that was very nice. Just curious. I did a scream we made as a ringtone. That was really fun one time with everybody walking around, their phones were ringing with my scream. I recorded it because I just couldn't keep screaming it at all on all the interviews and things like that. So,
Yeah.
so we recorded a scream. That was fun.
Now you save it for Kane Hodder when he messes up.
That would right be like, oh, Lars, stop. Piercing.
But I definitely appreciate you, and I thank you. And you know
Same.
what? I don't regret being part of 13 Fanboy when I got
Good.
people like you and people like
Yeah.
Tracy Savage, and
Yes.
there's been a
Yes.
lot of nice people involved with
Yeah.
that. It's just that
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know where the stalker thing came from, but
Well,
so-
you can't be
someday,
in this business and take, I don't even, I've never had any bad comments. I really haven't. I don't get hateful comments on my media. I just don't. And because I wouldn't participate in it. I wouldn't think about it twice. It would not bother me at all. You just let it go. There's a lot of people in the world, and some people, their whole job is to wake up and try to cause chaos and put people down and all of that. And I just won't play with any of that. So you just
no,
have to just toss it. Yeah.
yeah. But
Truly,
Debbie
truly,
Sue did a great job directing the movie.
she
Congratulations
did.
to her on that.
Yes, she did a
You
great
know,
job directing. I liked her direction.
yep. And and as far as Judy goes, I hope eventually I can move past this with her. But not my fault. Not my fault.
And it may not be her fault. So,
I don't know. I don't know
and
about what's gone with that. But I am happy I had Ted White on a couple times before he passed,
yeah,
though.
yeah, that's very,
96.
very
Yeah,
good. Glad you had that. Glad
I
you got to
did.
do
Got
that.
a signed hockey mask up there too, so there you
Love it.
go.
Love it.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
it's been great talking with you. I've really enjoyed it.
I gotta say you do look stunning tonight. I love the pink and the blonde hair. You look
Thank
stunning.
you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. You
Just,
you you moved you don't have to use telekinesis to move our hearts.
I'm just trying to stay preserved, it's all you can do.
You did you say your daughter Piper acts too?
Yes, she does. She's taken off a few years because my first grandchild is 3 now.
Mhm.
But Piper, she's with Piper Lincoln, and she did a film called The Barn, and it is on IMDb. It is streaming, and she plays a young investigative reporter, and it's quite great. And there's about zombies. And when you look it up on IMDb, though, sometimes there's a couple films called The Barn, and sometimes it doesn't show up at
Oh,
first, and then it does. But yeah, I tried to get in that film too, and they wouldn't cast me in that film. I was so upset because they were shooting in France.
is she in the one with Linnea Quigley?
No,
Okay, because I knew she
no,
was in one called The Barn.
Barn. So it's The Barn. This one was done in like 18 or 19 and shot in France where my daughter lives. And so I wanted to be in it, but the woman that was producing it was, I think, playing the role that I was trying to get. And they don't really like blondes in France. They like dark hair. My daughter's very dark eyes, dark hair, olive skin. It's crazy. And I kept saying, well, I could dye my hair. I just wanted to go over and shoot the film in France with her. It was an American film shot in France. And I think she did a great job. It was a lot of fun seeing her get it. They didn't know she was my daughter when they cast her because she goes by Piper Lincoln. And I had sent her a note and said, go try for this film and see what happens. And she booked it. Yeah. And then I'm like, so cast me. Use my name, cast me. And they're like, no, you're not right. No, thank you. I'm like, oh, okay.
You know what we need? We need the Tina Road movie with you, and in the back seat you got Piper
Yep.
and you got Jennifer Bonko.
But no, I'm not getting in a car with Jennifer. I've done that before. That won't happen. No, I've been in that vehicle and I've been in the front seat. And no,
This is nuts, as they say, huh?
I'm not doing that ride.
She represents your younger self.
But I grew up. I grew up.
I bet that's why Kane hangs out with her so much.
Does he? Oh, Lord. Calling on the powers.
Oh, well, before I let you go, would you mind doing a plug for my show?
I will. What shall I say?
Just introduce yourself and say that you're listening to Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise.
Yes, I can do that. You ready?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So am I looking directly at you here? Is that how you want it?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, I'm Lark Park Lincoln. Wait, okay. I know I'm Lark Park Lincoln. Do you want me to say, how do you want me to connect it? Tell me.
Well, you could say, we're celebrating, of course, the 35th anniversary of this. And
I'm
yeah.
Greg Gilbert's Python Paradise.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep.
Hi, I'm Lark Park Lincoln here with Greg Gilbert on Python Paradise. And we are celebrating 35 years of Friday the 13th, part 7. Come join us and have a scream.
Yes. And she is part of 13th Fanboy. And you know what? She's worth the 3K. She and Tracy and so many good people in that.
Oh, goodness.
I'll eventually move past my dark ages with it, but you know
Yeah,
what? I
I
don't
think
regret. I don't regret being part of it.
Good. Yeah, you just need to move past it. Believe me, if you were on this side of the camera and all of it all the time, you'd know what I mean. You just move past it.
It just
You've
lingers
got
a
to have a very, very strong veneer in this industry because we can't control what other people do. You just can't. So you got to, first of all, not read it, not respond to it ever, and move on.
Oh, if the screenshot hadn't been sent to me, I wouldn't have known. But somebody
Yeah.
felt that I probably should have known what was being said behind my back. But
And there was somebody on that show that went after Peter Anthony really hard. Somebody
yeah, I know,
jealous
because
that
that same person went after me too. Was one of the ones that said screening of 13 Fanboy was apparently, according to what he was told, canceled because of my actions.
yeah.
I know
So
who
that's,
exactly who you're talking about.
and none of that is true. It's all not true. So
Hmm. I have Peter Anthony on here. Spoke very highly of you.
oh, that's nice.
Yep, spoke very highly of you. Yep. So and I did see Roseblood, so there you go.
There you go. Good deal. All
Although
right.
I think that Terry Kaiser needs to quit his practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, put me in touch with him if you don't
Do you
mind.
know what we just
Yep.
found of Terry's? One of Terry's one of the things that he loved the most that he's done was when he did an episode of Circus with the Stars
Mhm.
and stuck his head in a lion's mouth. And he had never seen the footage, never had the footage. And my dear friend, assistant Becca, has found the footage of that Circus of the Stars, and we just sent it to Terry. Pretty awesome. I was also on Circus of the Stars, but I got fired because I couldn't walk the tightrope and I couldn't jump off the thing, and they had nothing else I could do. They wouldn't let me pose with the elephants or the dancing poodles. So yeah, got
Oh,
fired.
jeepers, you should have been connected with my friend Lisa Hoyle, who's a stunt woman. She
They had to really do that stuff on that show. I couldn't do any of that stuff.
well, Lisa Hoyle was a trapeze artist. She was in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, that movie. You
Mhm.
see
Yeah.
her on screen in the trapeze scene, but she said her favorite person to double for was Christine Applegate. She loved
Nope.
Christine Applegate.
I worked with Christina on a TV series. I played her best friend on a series um, that was called, hold on a second, it'll take me a minute to think of it. It's not on my IMDb, and I need to report it on the IMDb. I know Becca was working on that, but yeah, I played her friend. Of course, she was really 16. I was playing 16, but I think I was like 28, something like that.
Oh, we
Um,
buy it. You look 16
yeah,
now.
yeah, it worked. But it was right before Married with Children because that series ended. And then, oh gosh, it's right on the tip of my tongue, but I can't think of the name of it right now. But yeah, it was very nice. I got to work with her. I think I
I've
played the
heard
bad influence. Yeah.
I heard so many great things about her, but
Mhm.
Lisa Hoyle's been on here a lot too, and she speaks very highly of Christina.
Oh, good,
But
good. Glad to hear that. Yeah.
she would be the one for you to get in touch with to do all that stuff because she specializes. And
Well,
and of course, Ellen Udy from My Bloody Valentine walks on
hmm.
stilts.
No, I don't do that stuff. So yeah, it was awful. It was just like, no, I can't climb up there and I can't walk a tightrope and I can't jump off a trapeze. So yeah,
I
fired.
would I would have kept you in it.
Yeah. I said I'll pose with the elephants or the dancing poodles. And they're like, no, not for this kind of money, you won't. Okay.
Oh, they
Because
should
it
get
was
you to
like,
ride the elephant.
yeah, no, it was like months of training. They really had to do the stunts. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Oh, that's too bad.
Oh,
That's too bad.
all the things behind the scenes that happen.
I would have kept you in. I would have found a way to keep you in there.
Found a way to put me somewhere.
Oh yeah.
You'll have to ask Terry about it because that was a very meaningful show for him working with the Lions.
I will definitely ask him about that.
All
Well,
right.
anyway, I want to wish you a very Merry Christmas
Thank you. The same.
and a blessed 2024.
Thank you. Thank you
And
so much.
thank you for all the kind words and then And thanks for trusting me, because that's
Yes.
important, you know.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
you've never had an issue with me, so there you go.
No,
You
you're a
know,
good
so
guy.
I appreciate that so much, you know. So yeah,
Well, I'm excited to do it. It's been a really fun conversation. Really,
it
really enjoyed it.
has. It
Yeah.
has. Well, I'll let you get back to Becca and your IMDb.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna get up to that Christmas tree. Go see what I
Don't
can
let
do.
it fall on you, because if you
No,
do, your
no,
kids are
I
going to
won't
laugh
because
at you.
I'm alone right now. So if it falls on me, I have a problem. I've only got a poodle here. So
The poodle will laugh at you.
poodle will laugh. Yes. Wish me luck.
I wish you luck. I wish you luck.
Thank you. Bye to
God
everyone.
bless you. Thank you so
Take
much.
care. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.